Hello everyone, this is Princess Farron. I'm back with another Love and Deepspace video. I really had to talk about it. We had another event today in regards to version 3.0, and this was part two of that event, and we were formally introduced to the new love interest of the game, Caleb. Most of us already knew that he was the next coming, especially because there was still a message that he had sent TMC, and it was not eliminated. It was still part of the game. It was still there in the app. And I would like to talk a little bit about that. I would like to talk about all the lore that might be associated with his character in terms of folklore and mythology and all that. And I also have a few thoughts that seeing the trailer uh, arise in me in regards to modern culture. Let us let us say that way. So first of all, Infold had commissioned art related to Caleb, and that art was specifically with apples. Apples were very prominent in that art. So as we can see in the trailer as well, apples are still very important. They appear several times throughout this tiny trailer. So I would like to talk about apples. I'll especially cover the symbology that apples might have related to his story. First of all, it's gonna be a video with some juicy thoughts, pun intended. Apples are pregnant with symbology. They're the forbidden fruit, the love fruit, fairy fruit, divination fruit. For example, I believe there's still a tradition of peeling an apple in a long ribbon and then tossing the peel over the shoulder to check the letter made. That letter supposedly is the first letter of one's husband or wife. I've actually tried that once when I was still a kid. So apples are are very unique. They're filled with symbology. Then there's that saying, "An apple a day keeps the doctor away." So they're also related to health and eternal life as well. So the first lore I would like to talk about is the myth of Christianity's Adam and Eve. In Adam and Eve, apples are seen as the forbidden fruit. And Adam and Eve actually ate from that forbidden fruit, from the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden, and they were kicked out of it because of that. I don't think the game will focus too much in the Adam and Eve myth. I don't think the two of them are supposed to generate like a family line with special powers that we could happen. They both have been tampered with, as we can see in the trailer. We already knew about TMC, now we got that confirmation regarding Caleb, but I don't think that's going to be it. It's too in your face and too obvious, and you know, it's a story too well known. I don't think they're gonna take that route. I'd like to talk about also the importance of apples in the Greek mythology. We have, for example, Gaia, Mother Earth. She presented an apple tree to Zeus and Hera for their wedding. So that was supposed to symbolize love. Ares, another myth. Ares, the goddess of strife, after not being invited for a wedding, once again a wedding, between fellow gods, she became mad. She became enraged. So she planned to cause discord. And in order to do so, she tossed an apple to the guests. The apple in question had an inscription for the fairest. And believe it or not, three of the goddesses present, Athena, Hera, and Aphrodite, thought that gift, that apple, that message had been addressed to them. So they, in order to decide who was the fairest, to end that dispute, they requested a mortal, Paris, to judge to decide who indeed was the fairest of them all. And he ended up picking Aphrodite. The other two goddesses were fuming, and according to the legend, that event was one that actually led to the Trojan War. So, one apple that can cause discord as well. Um, Taking also a more negative meaning, apples can be seen as a symbol of malice and deceit. And we can see that in that one fairy tale that everyone knows about. What could it be? Snow White and the Seven Wolves. Snow White, the innocent princess that, falling prey to her own naivety and the temptation presented by the juicy ruby colored fruit, almost sealed her fate. Then we have another situation, more realistic one, supposedly. Let's remember Sir Isaac Newton. He discovered the gravity after an apple fell from a tree and hit him on the head. So here we have an eureka moment that led to a previously unknown knowledge. So once again, apples as knowledge, not forbidden knowledge, as we had with Adam and Eve and the tree of knowledge, but knowledge, power. At last but not the least, I would like to mention the Celtic lore. The Celtic lore sees apples or has them as symbols of life's eternal cycle. How fitting, right? Taking into account TMC's continuous cycle of reincarnations. And as we can see now, Caleb's supposed return from the dead. Besides the symbols of eternal cycle of life, the Celtic also sees apples as symbols of a magical other world, a place where time stands still and the boundaries of reality become blurry. Wink, wink. Multiple timelines in the story, right? In our story of Love and Deepspace. So the apples were seen by the Celtics as a bridge to reach that other world. Which we think of otherworld, we might think of a place of death. But instead, this Celtic otherworld was a world of gods and fae, a place that has transcended the limitations of mortality. Now, doesn't that seem similar to the lives of all the love interests so far the lives that he used to live and that we can catch a glimpse of through their myth memories? Just some food for thought. Pun intended. Once again. Besides all this possible lore, as I mentioned in the beginning, I would also like to talk about what came to my mind. Not in terms of fairy tales and tradition, but more in regards to the modern culture. I can't deny that this trailer really gave me Star Wars vibes. It was the first idea that came to my mind because of that cyborg, that mechanical arm a la Darth Vader. Um, as well as Captain America, because he's a soldier being subjected to a neural control experiment. Probably, most likely, Caleb here. That experiment is taking happening at the hands of Ever. And then there's a little flavor of Top Gun since he's a pilot and then a colonel, all that. And at last, but also not least, I don't know if you've watched the movies, the Hunger Game movies, but that line that appears in the trailer, they are the optimal weapon for destroying one another. And the expression on Caleb's face after that session of torture, that experiment is over, it reminds me of the way Peeta Malark was messed with in order to associate Katniss with danger and to be filled with an uncontrollable desire to kill her, even though Peeta actually loved her. That expression in Caleb's eyes just reminded me of that. So, could the same thing be happening to Caleb? Is he being transformed in order to kill her or to drive the MC to the limit in order to in order for her to achieve that potential that ever wants her to achieve for their own means, and we still don't know what their actual purpose is. Well, this trailer teases a lot of angsty potential. That's for certain. So we'll have to see what happens next. Tell me what you think. Do you have any other ideas, more lore associated with apples? Tell me what you think. This is Princess Farron signing out. Take care and good gaming. Bye bye.